Good morning. We'll call this October 21st board meeting into session. If you will, take your cell phones, turn them to silent for us so there'll be no interruptions. And at this time, we'll have our prayer given by Kyle Rutledge, followed by our pledge. If you'll stand, please.
Lord, thank you for letting us gather here today, Lord. Just thank you for all the blessings you pour down upon us, Lord. Lord, just thank you for all you do for us, Lord. Lord, just be with us as we conduct the county's business today, Lord. And just be with our country and our county, Lord. And just thank you for all you do. In Jesus' name I pray. Amen.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
I was trying to say America. How's that bird? And as always, I don't know, by natural selection, I think Mr. Norwood always starts us off with a pledge. So thank you for that, sir. All right, I need approval of agenda even date.
So moved.
Have a motion. Do I have a second?
Second.
Have a second. Any discussion? All in favor? Aye. Any opposed? Motion passes. Number 5, approval of minutes dated October 3rd and October 17th, and one of those is the work session. Do I have a motion?
So moved.
Have a motion. Do I have a second?
So moved.
Have a second. Any discussion? All in favor? Aye. Any opposed? Motion passes. That'll take us to number 6, to our tax collector, Doris Spottle. Good morning.
Good morning.
How are you?
I'm good, thank you. I think you all have copies of our insolvency personal property and the insolvent mobile home taxes. I'll start with the personal property. The total amount billed was $22,482,221.45. The total amount collected with interest and penalties as of September 30, 2019 was $22,257,829.19. That includes collection of the current taxes as well as delinquent taxes from the prior year. Now, the total amount of tax due with interest and penalties as of September 30 is $259,455.22. Of that, $7,260.07 is in bankruptcy. And of course, that's uncollectible until they come out of bankruptcy, which we will collect them as they come out. There is an amount of $25,500 that is taxes on businesses that are no longer in business. And that just sits on our book until forever. It's normally not anything we can collect because they're no longer in business. So the total amount of the unpaid collectible taxes with interest and penalties as of September 30th, 2019 is $226,695.15. And we do continue to collect those all throughout the year. In fact, I did get a letter from a lady that she's mailing some in. So we do continue to collect those even though we do turn them over to y'all. And I just have to say that Tracy's in charge of our property tax, and she has done an excellent job at collecting those. I really want to give her all the credit.
Mr. President.
Yes, sir.
Doris, do we still have a collection agents pursuing these taxes that have not been paid?
Not on the personal property.
Not on the personal?
No, not on the personal property. And if that is something that, that I need to look into, I can. The way this works is we turn it over to the sheriff's department, and then they go out and post these notices on them and proceed that way on the personal property. That's the way it usually. And once they post those, a lot of times people will come in. But the unpaid ones on those businesses that have gone out of business, I don't know if there's any way that we can collect that.
Thank you.
You're welcome. The next is the 2019 insolvent mobile home taxes. The total amount billed was $313,955.58. The total receipts that we generated in 11/30/2018 was $3,162. The total amount of taxes that we collected as of September 30th on mobile homes is $312,302.45. And of course, course, this also includes prior year taxes. If you look at the numbers, you're thinking, why you billed $313, and you collected $312, but it's prior year taxes that people come in, and we do continue to collect those. The total of tax liens that were filed with the circuit clerk as of August 19, 2019 is 523 receipts with interest and penalties of $43,006.03. The total amount of receipts due as of September 30th, 2019 is $481, which includes the amount of $36,735.59 plus the penalties and interest of $2,650.68 for a total uncollectible at this point of $39,386.27. But as I said, we file liens on those and they do come in and pay them, and we continue to collect them as they come in.
And I take it that if they come in to do other business, they're reminded at that point.
They do, and they sent out, Tracy has done an excellent job of sending out 2 or 3 letters this year, and each time one of those letters go out, we seem to have a flurry of people coming in, and she'll continue to do that. She's done an excellent job of collecting those.
Well, gentlemen, that's my understanding. Ms. Doris, I'm sorry, were you finished?
No, I'm just going to give a shout out to Julia, because she does a great job at collecting these, and we did not have the mobile home land sale this year. And the reason being is there were several incidents in my office and with the people that purchased them of guns and threats. And as a tax collector, I could not live with myself if something that my office did because someone gets shot or killed. So we're going to use a collection agency to collect those uncollectible mobile home taxes. And that way, it does not cost the county any money. They add their own fees and collect it that way. But Julia can attest to the fact that someone came in, and the same gentleman that a lady had bought this mobile home, pulled a gun on her and her young son threatened her. And he came in her office, and Julia's convinced he had a gun in his pocket because he kept his hand, in his pocket. He was very irritated. But anyway, so that's the reason we don't have the mobile home sale anymore. I felt this tax collector.
Gentlemen, you got any questions?
Have you checked with the constables? I know, and then Chuck comes to mind. He does a lot of in-house collecting for us on tickets and stuff like that. Would he be? I wonder if he'd be interested, or any of the constables.
Well, I hadn't thought about that. I didn't know.
We had a collection agency that was collecting for us inside of Lauderdale County and outside, but then we turned the inside over to the constables.
I will do that.
And
I'd prefer, I'd much rather prefer that we go, you're talking about the current constables that are,
Yes, ma'am.
okay, I certainly will
before
do
they
that.
have now,
I sure
and
will.
they may be interested in it.
That's
and
very possible.
sort of keep it in-house also.
That would be great. I will do that. Thank you.
On the personal property, like the 226,000, that's all the total of all the taxing entities, like city, county, Marion?
That is correct.
So that's
That is
just not
correct.
us, okay.
That's not just the
Okay.
county, that is correct.
Thank you.
Isn't there several places, Mr. Chairman? And I'm sorry I hadn't mentioned this in a work session, I'm just simple-minded, I think. I know we have several properties, and I'm not picking on Dalewood, because I know Chambersville's the same way, they're incorporated, or, I don't know what they call it, incorporated, or have a LLC or something like that, to where if you sell the property and you have not paid your taxes, or you haven't paid the HOA fees or something like that, they keep stacking up. And I know Dalewood has a pretty good dues, and they have a pretty substantial amount of property in there, and people would buy it, but once they go to look at how much they owe, it sort of takes them away from it. Is there, and I want them to get their money, because, and I know how the sheriff is dealing with Chambersville and stuff like that, I know they need that money, but instead of the property just sitting there vacant and nobody gaining anything out of it, could we put, is there a state law that we can say, you can collect maybe 5 years in arrear or something? Because I know there's probably some properties in Dalewood that's been, we've seen on the books for 8 years since
Now,
I've
are we
been.
talking about personal or real?
It just crossed my mind about some, yes. I don't know. You can pick whichever one you want.
Real?
Yes, ma'am. I just know there's some properties that wouldn't sell in
Right.
the auction because of
Right.
the dues that were
Well, they
owed.
are struck to state. They go to state.
That's
And of
right.
course, when they go to state,
We don't-
we still don't get the
we
money
still don't
unless
get
somebody
anything.
redeems them from state.
But like if we could say, hey, the dues are, we're supposed to be $10,000,
Right.
but
And that's the problem. I
because
have-
the dues are so high,
That's
they go
right.
that much in back dues.
That's right.
And
Taxes are not.
That's right. The taxes isn't that much, and
No,
people
they're
would
not.
buy the property.
That is correct.
But when they go to pay the dues up, it's more than the property.
That's right.
They pay for the property.
That's a conversation we probably need to have with Delwood and Chamberlain, because they're the one that collect the dues.
And I don't think
you know.
Chamberlain has a problem. Yeah, but I know,
It
in
is
the future they
definitely
might, and there may be other
Right.
subdivisions that we're not even thinking about. Rainbow Lake. I just know Delwood, because I see Delwood on there all the time, and they're nice
Yes.
pieces of property.
They are.
But it's too expensive,
But the dues,
But that would be something, that'd be money that they would be collecting also.
that's right, and instead of collecting
It's just sitting
nothing,
there doing nothing.
and us not collecting anything, going to the state, and
That's
then,
true.
it's a lose-lose for both people
Well-
if it goes to the state.
And to me, I would think that once this property changed hands or changed names, they ought to give those other dues that are, I don't know that they do that. I really don't know if they do. But like we have properties that sell garbage fees and all. We cannot legally charge the new owner with those properties.
That's right.
Those garbage fees because they weren't there. So I would think Delwood should have something in place. I don't know that they do.
I might let Mr. Rutledge, maybe we can sit down and start a conversation with him and,
I think
just pay 2 or 3 years, because I know there's a lot of upkeep.
Right.
And I don't want to pick on Chambersville either, I just know that,
Right.
that area better, but, there's a lot of upkeep that those people do throughout the year to keep up with DEQ demands and all this other stuff that goes on. It costs money, and I don't want them to lose the money, but we're both losing if the property isn't sold,
That's
or
true. That
it
is
isn't
true.
auctioned off,
If it's not on our books,
We're not
if it goes to
getting-
state and it stays there.
then we're done.
That's
Yeah,
right.
then it's, and a lot of pieces of property will be cleaned up. You look at it that way. I mean, there are properties that sit there and they just grow up because
That's right.
no one owns them.
Now,
Sounds to me like Mr. Todd, Mr. Rutledge just formed their own committee.
Well, that's not my area, Mr. Wales. I'm sorry.
Let me sure you gotta pay my tax.
We appoint Mr. Newell
think
to be the
President, Vice
liaison to
That
figure that
might be a
out.
conflict of interest for me since I live there.
But just a thought.
Ladies, thank you.
you're welcome.
Thank you.
Thank y'all.
So, Ms. Norris, what I was going to say a second ago is my understanding, we don't have to take action on this, it's just read into the minutes, isn't that correct? Okay, all right, thank you.
Thank you.
Good job,
Good
ladies.
job.
Yes, thank you. Good job.
Okay, that will take us to number 7 on our agenda, Sheriff Billy Solomon. Good morning, sir.
Morning, sir. Mr. Todd, just following that conversation, I'm on the board for Chamberville, and our annual dues are $1 a day or $365 a year. And as of today, I think all landowners are up to date on their assessments, so we're in good shape in Chamberville.
Yes, sir. And I figured y'all were, it's just, I couldn't throw Delwood out there without putting Chambersville in it too, Mayor. But, it may be a problem in the future, Hopefully not, but you never know.
We have a process, if we do have anyone that's delinquent in their annual assessments, we utilize the legal recourse to notify them. They respond quite quickly once the attorneys get involved. Yes, sir. Again, gentlemen, my agenda is rather short today. I have item number 1 is personnel. You have a listing that are personnel that are no longer associated with Florida County Sheriff's Department or who have recently been hired by Florida County Sheriff's Department. Item number 2 is a training opportunity. We have a list there of individuals that have recently been hired from the detention facility and as required by state law. They must receive their certification as correctional officers. You have a list of personnel that will be attending the MCC Detention Officers Training starting October 28th at $100 per officer. I do believe the state will reimburse us for that fee.
I do believe we need to take action on that. Do I have a motion?
So moved. Second.
You got that, Ms. Carey? Okay, I have a motion and a second. Any discussion? All in favor? Aye. Any opposed? Motion passes.
Gentlemen, that's all I have on my agenda unless the board has any questions or concerns.
Gentlemen? All right, Sheriff. Thank you, sir.
I would ask you and the community to say a word of prayer for my daughter this week. She'll be flying out to Houston tomorrow to have her scans and assessments done Wednesday. We'll leave with her doctor on Thursday to see if this round of treatment's had any impact on her treatment, on her status in life. So, again, certainly would appreciate everyone's thoughts and prayers. Also, I'd like to remind everybody that this Saturday is going to be a benefit at the Chunky River Harley Davidson shop. We're selling fish plates. We've got to have numbers by tomorrow afternoon. But again, encourage everyone to come out and enjoy a great day this weekend at Chunky River Harley Davidson.
What day is that again, Sheriff?
It'll be this Saturday, starting at about 10:30. I think the motorcycles are going to do a ride, I believe, around the reservoir. I think, as they say, kickstands are up around 9:30. Start serving fish, pork, chicken plates about 10:30.
Sheriff, you said you're gonna have to turn numbers in, are you selling tickets, or?
Yes, we have to have tickets available in my office. And you're $10, and you're $10 a ticket, yes, sir.
And we also want to welcome your daughter back into District 3.
Yes,
She
sir.
moved into Martin.
My daughter and her husband and my grandson will be moving back into Lauderdale County this coming weekend. All goes to plan.
If you need any help, I'm just a mile away.
Thank you, gentlemen.
Thank you, we'll be thinking about you guys.
Sure.
Okay, that'll take us to Road Manager Rush Mann.
Morning, Board. Morning. I need to remove one item, number 3, from my agenda. First item, needing approval to work off right-of-way at 4011 Cozzeyville Road. This work is needed to correct drainage issues that will help preserve and maintain the county roads and right-of-way, and will promote the health, comfort, and convenience of the inhabitants of Lauderdale County.
Do I have a motion?
So moved.
Second.
Have a motion and a second. Any discussion? All in favor? Aye. Any opposed? Motion passes.
Second item, also need approval to work off right-of-way at 6820 South Anderson Road. This work is also needed to correct drainage issues that will help preserve and maintain the county roads and right-of-way, and will promote the health, comfort, and convenience of the inhabitants of Lauderdale County.
Do I have a motion?
So moved.
Have a motion, do I have a second?
Second.
Have a second. Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion passes. Striking number 3, moving
Yes, sir.
forward.
Number 4, needing approval to advertise for bids to rent a concrete crusher.
Do I have a motion?
So moved.
Second. Have a motion and a second. Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion passes.
And of course, the only other thing, and I thought about this after the work session, really over the weekend, all the rock we have out at the industrial park, should we look at possibly seeing if there's anything we can do with that?
Well, last time I rode out there, I'm trying to get my bearings. It's going to be the southeast corner on the other side of the ditch. Can we move them there for storage, or do we want to just totally get them off that property? I don't know if that's something everybody wants to ride out and look at some point, and us talk about it next work session, or if that's something you just want to tackle right now. Gentlemen?
Question?
The large rock that we have at the industrial park.
It was unearthed. Did they have stockpile?
Well, we looking for 2 roads to go with Saks Park.
Sure.
Is that crane lift, or is that, can you do a tractor, distracted tractor?
None of ours. I mean, they're gonna have to be busted up in order to be moved. They had a D10 dozer out there that,
Okay, so it's not the rock that has,
no, they're really big.
so it's just,
This is kind of like up on 29 type stuff.
But what I was gonna say, I don't know if myself and Terrell can get together, if there is, some sort of usable material out of that, might need to look at just getting that crushed up as well.
Well, that's something Chris has mentioned, after, looking at it several times, is there attachment that we can put on the front end of a piece of equipment and bust it up?
So are you talking about maybe busting them up and then run them through the crusher? Is that what you don't know?
what kind of rock? Granite?
No, it's not granite, it's just.
What is it?
Don't really know.
Granite there.
I think we probably have to.
Yeah.
It may have a baby dinosaur.
Don't say that. No,
Oh,
it's
no.
not.
Well, the word's
All right.
completed.
I'll look into it further before.
I'm just joking. God, I said 10.
That's all I got on my agenda, unless y'all have something for me.
So, thank you for bringing it to our attention. You guys, I think, might want to just take a look at it, let us,
We can
I'll
make
get
some
more
rocks for dirt roads out of it.
Kyle was excited about it.
Oh, I know Kyle's all about it.
Can you work on, just looking at getting some numbers on that?
I do remember when we first uncovered that, I was talking to Terrell about it, he said there was nothing special about the
Okay.
rock that's there, but I don't remember, he told me what kind of rocks they were, but I don't remember.
In the way rocks.
Yeah, in the way rocks, that's right.
All right, anything else for Rush? Two things from me, I'm sorry, we need to get in touch with the lady out on Pine Springs, and the gentleman that we've been talking about the drainage issue called me over the weekend. I just told him we'd catch up with you today and get you out there and talk about it. It's the only time I've thought about saying it, so I'm sorry. Anything else, gentlemen? Okay, thank you, sir. All right, that will take us to our staff report, starting with Miss Carolyn Mooney. Good morning, ma'am.
Good morning. My first item I would like to submit for inclusion in the minutes, the public notice is posted on the bulletin board on the first floor of the Raymond P. Davis County Annex Building, advising of the date and time of this meeting pursuant to Section 254113 Mississippi Code of 1972. My next item, I need board approval for the second claims docket for the month of October and to authorize the clerk to issue the warrants.
Do I have a motion?
So moved.
Have a motion, do I have a second?
Second.
Have a second, any discussion? All in favor? Aye. Any opposed? Motion passes.
My next item, I need to include in the minutes certification from Sheriff Solly that 16,985 meals were served in the Lauderdale County Detention Facility during the month of September, and to authorize the board president to sign the necessary paperwork.
Do I have a motion?
So moved.
Second.
Have a motion and a second. Any discussion? All in favor? Aye. Any opposed? Motion passes.
And my next item, I have 5 oaths of office that I need board approval.
So
Do I
moved.
have a motion? Do I have a second?
Second.
Have a second. Any discussion? All in favor? Aye. Any opposed? Motion passes.
Mr. President, that concludes my agenda.
Ms. Mooney, thank you. Any questions for Ms. Mooney? Okay, we'll go to Chris Lafferty, County Administrator.
Good morning, Mr. President, Board. My first item, I need approval to advertise for sealed bids on unused Lauderdale County office furniture located in various county offices.
So moved.
Have a motion, do I have a second?
Second.
Have a second, any discussion? All in favor? Aye. Any opposed? Motion passes.
Next, I need approval to transfer $14,139.38 from the Economic Industry and Recreation Fund to the MDA Capital and BWI Rail Spur Fund.
So moved.
Have a motion, do I have a second?
Second.
Have a second, any discussion? All in favor? Aye. Any opposed? Motion passes.
Next, I need approval to advance $142,147.12 from the Economic Industry and Recreation Fund to the MDA Capital BWI Rail Spur Fund. Advance will be paid when loan proceeds are received.
Do I have a motion?
So moved.
Have a motion and a second. Any discussion? All in favor? Aye. Any opposed? Motion passes.
Next, I need approval to transfer $2,615.87 from the TIF INS Crossroads 1209 Fund 294 to TIF REF Meridian Crossroads 2019 Fund 297 and close out Fund 294.
Do I have a motion?
So moved.
I have a motion and a second. Any discussion? All in favor? Aye. Any opposed? Motion passes.
Number 5, I think we're going to need to table that. It reads, need approval to contract with ION for electronic payment solution for the tax collector's office. And board attorney reminded me that we're still under contract with our previous one, so unless we just want to amend that vote specifically for the kiosk, we'll need to discuss that further.
Do I need a motion to table it?
Yeah, I just pass.
Next, number 6, I need approval to pay $250 to Tracy Root for personal cell phone usage from January 2019 to October 2000.
So moved.
I have a motion. Do I have a second?
Second.
Have a second. Any discussion? All in favor? Aye. Any opposed? Motion passes.
Next, I need to include in the minutes the refunding of Series 2009 Crossroad Road TIF bond by the City of Meridian that was finalized 9/27/19. The refunding allowed for interest rate reduction from 8.75 to 2.2%, which is a savings for the city and Lauderdale County.
Do I have a motion?
So moved.
Motion, do I have a second?
Second.
I have a second. Any discussion? All in favor? Aye. Any opposed? Motion passes.
Next, I need approval for the Election Commission and Donna Jo Johnson to attend the 2020 ECAM Seminar and Convention, January the 22nd through the 24th in Philadelphia. Travel includes registration, which includes the hotel, per diem, and mileage.
Do I have a motion?
So moved.
Have a motion, do I have a second?
Second.
Have a second. Any discussion? All in favor? Aye. Any opposed? Motion passes.
I need approval for the following inventory list per Tim Poe, inventory clerk, transfers, inventory deletions, cell phones 4 years old and older, and for the FY18 inventory for Carolyn Mooney to send to the state auditor.
So moved.
Have a motion, do I have a second?
Second.
Have a second. Any discussion? All in favor? Aye. Any opposed? Motion passes.
Next, I need approval to accept the lowest and best quote of $9,609 from FJ Evans Engineering Company for reverberate infrared tube heaters. You see the two quotes there.
So moved.
Have a motion, do I have a second?
Second.
Have a second. Any discussion?
Chris, for the public, would you tell where these heaters are gonna be put?
Sure, yes, sir. Those are going to go out at the ag centers to more efficiently heat the stands.
Anything else? All in favor? Aye. Any opposed? Motion passes.
Next, I need approval to advertise for bids for concrete steps at the ag center.
So moved.
Have a motion, do I have a second?
Second.
Have a second. Any discussion? All in favor? Aye. Any opposed? Motion passes.
Gentlemen, that concludes my agenda. Any questions?
Gentlemen, any questions for Mr. Laffer? Okay. That will take us to Board Attorney, Mr. Lee Thaggart.
Mr. President, Board, good morning.
Morning.
First, ask you to consider a motion to ratify and approve the board president's execution of construction engineering and inspection services contract with Engineering Plus relative to the Sawachi Walking Trail, this 29th Avenue to Granite.
Do I have a motion?
Second.
Have a motion and a second. Any discussion? All in favor? Aye. Any opposed? Motion passes.
Next, ask you to consider a motion to recess as the board of supervisors and convene as the board of trustees of the Lauderdale County Economic Development Authority.
So moved.
Have a motion, do I have a second?
Second.
Have a second, any discussion? All right, all in favor? Aye. Any opposed? Sir?
Now sitting as the board of trustees, ask you to consider a resolution authorizing and approving the land swap agreement with Mississippi Power Company in substantial form, authorizing the board president, the board secretary to take any and all actions necessary to close the same, to include but not limited to execution of a special warranty deed, Mississippi Power Company, execution of a right-of-way easement with Mississippi Power Company, execution of an access easement with Mississippi Power Company, and also the acceptance of a warranty deed from Mississippi Power Company.
So moved.
I have a motion, do I have a second?
Second.
I have a second, any discussion?
Mr. President,
Yes.
Lee, will you tell the public where this is out?
Sure, this involves swapping of two tracts of property that are in the I-2059 Industrial Park. Mississippi Power Company had about just over a 3-acre tract. It's just off Highway 11 and 80, but it's essentially in the center of the park. And what we're doing is moving that parcel to the northeastern corner of the park, which allowed the county to develop that as an entire park. But also, we learned, work out there, swapping that was vital because the silt basin, what do we call it, Rush? Silt, that's where the water is draining and is evaporating there is vital to us being able to expand that park. That actually goes across that 3-acre tract that is owned by Mississippi Power Company. So, and what Mississippi Power Company is doing is going to provide a larger substation than it originally had planned for purposes, given the size of the park.
If I may add, I would just say it's a win-win.
No, absolutely.
Oh, yeah.
No, absolutely. You can say it's a win-win. It's definitely a win for Lauderdale County.
and thank you for your working on that.
Certainly.
I know they've been pushing that to get through. I believe we've had our motion second, we had discussion. All in favor? Aye. Any opposed? Motion passes.
Ask you to consider a motion to recess as the Board of Trustees of Lauderdale County Economic Development District and reconvene as the Board of Supervisors.
Do I have a motion?
So move.
Second.
Have a motion and a second. Any discussion? All in favor? Aye. Any opposed? Motion passes.
And Mr. President, subject to questions, that completes the legal agenda.
All right, gentlemen. Any questions for Mr. Thacker? All right, that will take us to number 10 on our agenda. For other matters for general good and welfare, we open up the podium for 5 minutes to individuals that would like to address the board. Is there anyone in the audience at this time that would like to come up and address the board? I'll make the call one more time. Other matters for general good and welfare. Is there anyone in the audience that would like to address the board at this time? Seeing no action, we'll go to number 11, actions from supervisors. I'll start with Mr. Newell.
Thank you, Mr. President. I've got two things that I'd like to talk about this morning. First is abandoned cemetery. It's located approximately 1 mile from the York Road if you go to Lauderdale, and you turn right onto the Kewanee Church Road. The Bill 1477 allowed the county and the city also, if they had to or warranted, to clean up abandoned cemeteries. It was a cemetery behind the Lauderdale Cemetery out there, which consists of 1 acre. The name of that cemetery is the Old Spring Cemetery. And Lauderdale County cleaned it up last week to a degree. We still have to go back and pick up some bottles and debris there that's still left there, but the weather hampered it last week and other things. It's approximately about 40 graves there, and I would encourage anyone that is listening to this that if you have relatives there, certainly you need to go visit. It's approximately 8 to 10 tombstones there, but it's I'm going to say 20 to 30 of the little markers that the funeral home puts there before the headstone is there, and they're all decayed away, if that's the way you want to say it. I looked at 3 or 4 and you couldn't read anything on it, so it's some people that may have family there and want to put a headstone there. If you do, you certainly can get up there and look at it at this time. Secondly, I would like to talk about Knox Road. Knox Road has been in bad shape for a long time. This summer, the solar plant has been under construction there, and I was told last week that we as a board have secured from the solar plant $300,000 for the sole purpose of resurfacing and asphalting Knox Road. Now, is that going to happen tomorrow? No, it can't happen tomorrow. They're still hauling some heavy loads in there. When they get through with the haul they have in loads going in, and the weather permitting, which may take to the spring, we will put new asphalt on Knox Road, and you will have a new and better road than has ever been there. I certainly want to thank the people that live on that road. Since they've been constructing that solar plant, I've had one phone call that was disturbed about it, and the 18-wheeler knocked down the mailbox. And I can understand her concern because she was a middle-aged lady, I'll say, and that she said she had to hire somebody to replace her mailbox. So I can understand her complaint. But I just wanted to let those people know that we will, when weather permitting, it may be spring, and that we're monitoring that road right now to make sure that the heavy haulers are off of that road because in the near future, a week or so, we're going to open the road back up if they're through hauling, for the school buses won't have to go around and so forth. And we'll do some minor work on the road to get it better travelable in the winter. Thank you, Mr. President.
Yes, sir. Thank you, Mr. Newell. Mr. Todd?
I took up your time, I'm sorry.
Now you were my time. Okay. Mr. Norwood?
I'd just like to invite everyone out this Saturday at 11 o'clock. They will be laying down a Walker's Fame Star for Mr. David Ruffin of the Temptations from the Meridian area, Jackson State. Famous Sonny Boom of the South will be performing from the Max to the Temple Theater. They will unveil David Ruffin Boulevard right past the Temple Theater, and other activities going on right around us. I'd just like to invite the public to come out this Saturday morning for the unveiling of the Walker Fame Star for David Ruffin and the unveiling of the David Ruffin Boulevard.
Mr. Rhodes?
October 26th, Mr. Todd, don't forget it's recycling on the 26th, 9 to 1 at the Ag Center. We had a great turnout last time, in September. A couple weeks ago, we got to go to the Meridian Little Theater, see Little Shop of Horrors, and just commend that cast, and just the set was just amazing. It was like something you would see, in another city. I was just very impressed with the acting and just the plant moving stuff. It was just, if you missed it, you missed a great show. That's all.
Just on comments from myself, went to Mandeville, Louisiana this weekend for soccer, and just excited about the possibilities for our own community as I travel and I look at complexes, and I'm not just talking about sports, but I'm talking about governmental complexes and just places in general of what I think our 22nd Avenue, our location at the mall site can be in the future with private developers and private ownership. Just looking at what other municipalities have done with dining and just business, and I know it may not fit our community, but just I saw one place this weekend where it was business on the bottom and the housing on the top, and I just think with some vision, we're going to have a great 22nd Avenue in our new location that's coming down at the Old Village Fair Mall. I paused for a second on our vote for the Swashy Trail because that's another part of that vision down there, is that walking trail is going to enhance our property down there. So that's a good thing that's coming. I just wanted you to know that's why I paused, because I was waiting for somebody to say something about our project down there, and that's just going to add to what we're doing. Date of the groundbreaking, yes sir, thank you for that. October 31st, before our work session, we'll be down at the Village Fair Mall location making an official announcement about our courthouse project. So elected officials and everyone is invited, so please put that on your calendar, October 31st. And that afternoon, after our work session, we'll be headed out to Marion for a groundbreaking for our Animal Control Center. So please make those notes. Children's Museum is going to have a groundbreaking. Gentlemen, help me on the date. Is that the 28th?
28th, isn't it?
The 28th at 9:30. So you might want to make note of that as well. All right, and I believe, tentatively, November the 4th, we're going to have a ribbon cutting at our new Ag Center 4-H. Am I missing anything? A lot of good things happen. Okay. Did I have another comment?
Yeah. Yes, sir.
Yes.
So this past weekend, Lauderdale County, one of our senior members of our Bar Association, Bill Reed, passed away. And Bill was, he was a leader in the civil rights movement here. Over the years has helped so many indigent people, those with special needs that he helped take care of. Of course, just being a prominent attorney in the community, so don't keep forgetting his family. Thoughts and prayers.
Thank you, Phil. Thank you.
Yes, sir.
Okay. Gentlemen, I have no knowledge of a need for an executive session, so
I have.
you have a need?
Yes.
Okay, so I'll take a motion to consider the need for executive session.
So moved.
I have a motion. If you'll excuse us, please. All right, Mr. Thacker.
All right. The board did go into executive session and discuss the potential purchase or lease of real property, and no action was taken.
All right, if there's no other business before the board at this time, gentlemen, I will say that we did forget to congratulate Mr. Lafferty. He was promoted from captain to major officially this weekend. Congratulations, sir. Did you?
I didn't tell the story.
I know, but I did want to say that. I thought about it this weekend and it slipped my mind, so I'm glad you told the story. You jogged my memory, so congratulations. Thank you for your service and everything you do. Gentlemen, anything else? All right, I will consider the motion to adjourn until Monday, November the 4th, 2019 at 9 a.m. So we'll have a motion. Do I have a second? I have a second. Any discussion?